All right, chapter 3, lesson 6. We are going over the associative property of multiplication. Before we do that, why don't we take a look at where we've seen this phrase associative property from? And we've seen it with our properties of addition. Addition properties and subtraction rules. Well, if you look on down here on our tool that we made, we have an example of the associative property of addition. Associative property, the parentheses, kids. That's when you know you're working with the associative property. If you're ever given a number sentence and they ask you which property is being shown, um, the parentheses let you know that the associative property is the property being used or shown. But what does it mean? When we're talking about addition, the associative property of addition, the way in which the numbers are grouped when added does not change the sum. It doesn't change the answer. What does that mean? So in both of these number sentences here, you have 5 plus 2 plus 3. 5 plus 2 plus 3. And the only difference between these two number sentences is what they chose to add first. Here they added the 5 plus 2 first and then decided to add the 3. Here they added 2 plus 3 and then add the 5. And it all comes down to preference. What's going to be the easiest way to get to the answer of this problem? Some might see, oh, 7 plus 3, that's no biggie, make 10. 7 plus 3 is 10. Others are going to say, you know what, if I add the 3 and the 2 first, I'm going to make another 5, and I like adding doubles. Right? So they chose the 5 plus 5 route. Now, we are talking about today the associative property of multiplication. Okay? And the only difference here is the operation. We're multiplying instead of adding. If you look closely at the definition here of the associative property of multiplication, it shows that the way in which the numbers are grouped does not change their product. Okay? Here, it was the numbers, no matter which way the numbers are grouped when added, it does not change the sum. So they are very, very similar, except now we're going to be multiplying when we decide to look at the associative property. Now, I've got an example here of what that looks like. Now, sometimes the associative property of multiplication, they give you a series of 3 factors. Okay, and we have to decide which factors do we want to multiply first. In this case, let's multiply the 2 and the 6 first. Over here, we can multiply the 6 and the 3 first. Whatever you put the parentheses around, that's what you've got to multiply first, because those are the two numbers you've chosen. Now, 2 times 6 might be nice because 2 times 6 is a double, same thing as 6 times 6. What we're going to do is draw a caret here, call that a caret, and we will put the product of 2 times 6. 2 times 6 is 12. And then we have to bring down what's left over. And what's left over is our multiplication symbol and a 3. And now what we're left with is 12 times 3. 12s are known facts because they're on our multiplication table. So when we're going through our independent practice here and you're checking your answers against mine, it's going to be really helpful to pull out that multiplication table from your math tool section of your binder. 12 times 3 is 36. Okay. All right. Let's move over here. And now we can see from the perspective of multiplying 6 times 3 first. Same thing. You can draw your caret. Okay. Just letting you know 6 times 3 is the answer is going to come down here. 6 times 3 is 18. And then you got to bring down what you got left over. Multiplication symbol and your 2. Now what you're left with is 2 times 18. Now this isn't necessarily a known fact, and that's because it's not on our multiplication table. The biggest factor we have is 15 on our multiplication table. We don't have 18 as a factor. So what can we do? Well, multiplication is the same thing as repeated addition. So why not add it up? 8 plus 8 is 16. That's a 2-digit number. Put it over here. Circle it. Let you know you're going to do something with it. Put down the 6 and regroup the 1. 3 ones. And we get a sum of 36. So 18 plus 18 is the same thing as 2 times 18, or 2 groups of 18. 36 is the answer. It does not change the answer, but what the parentheses can do and what the associative property of multiplication can do is make multiplying 3 or more numbers a little more convenient for you. Okay? So when we are going through our independent practice, it's going to be very helpful for you to please have your multiplication table out, and you're going to need page 169. 169. Okay, a little closer. 169. And these are the problems that we're going to be doing. Okay, you do 4, 6, 7, 8, 11, 13, and then we'll do the 6 down here at the bottom, as these are more of the challenge problems that we'll use when we're talking about the associative property of multiplication. The way you group the numbers with parentheses doesn't change the answer. Okay? All right, so let us look at number 4, and we can do our work right here on our worksheet. Okay, so we have to make a choice. Do we want to do 6 times 1 first, or do we want to do 5 times 1? I'll do 5 times 1. Draw my caret. 5 times 1 is 5, and bring down what's left. And what you're left with is a basic fact that can be found. 6 times 5. Come down here, find my 6. Over here, I got my 5. Go over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 times 5 is 30. All right. Now, let's go on over to number 6. Please make sure you're pausing this video and giving each one of these problems a try. 7 times 5, or do we want to do 5 times 2? I know 5 times 2 equals 10, so I want to group those two numbers. 5 times 2, draw my caret, is 10, and bring down what you have left over. Now anything times 10, it's like multiplying it times 1, and add that 0. 7 times 1 is 0, or excuse me, 7 times 1 is 7, add that 0, makes it 70. Okay. All right, carrying on here. We're just choosing where we want to put the parentheses. I've got 10 times 2 or 5 times 2. I like making that 10, so I'm going to come on over here. 5 times 2 is 10. And I know 10 times 10. One of those first multiplication facts that you learn. A lot of older brother, older sister, moms and dads, they always like to share that one. 10 groups of 10 gets you 100. Okay. Now we've got 9 times 3 or 3 times 3. If I multiply 9 times 3, I'm going to end up with 27 times 3. Let's look at that. What are you going to do if you group some difficult numbers together? All right. 9 times 3 is 27. Bring down what you got. And that's times 3. What in the world? You don't know 27 times 3 like you know 2 times 4. That's not a basic fact. So what are you going to do? Well, you have the strategy of repeated addition right now. Okay, Mr. Tillish is going to share another strategy shortly. 7 plus 7 is 14. Plus 7 more is 21. Double-digit number. Put down my 1. Carry my 2. Now I have 2, 4, 6, and 8. 27 times 3 is 81. Now, what if I grouped the other two numbers? What if I group the 3 and the 3 together? I'd have ended up with a much more friendly fact. Group those 3 times 3 together instead of the 3 and the 9 together. If I multiply 3 times 3, I get 9. And now I'm left with a double when it comes to multiplying. 9 times 9 is a lot more smoother than 27 times 3, right? 9 times 9 is a lot smoother because it's a basic fact and it's a fun one to memorize. 9 times 9. Okay? Come down 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times 9 is 81. Okay? Same answer, but a lot easier than adding 27 plus 27 plus 27, right? Or multiplying 27 times 3. Okay, number 11. What are we going to multiply together now? Now let's take number 8 and learn from it. Are we going to do 9 times 2 first and get 18 times 4? I think it's going to be a little more friendly if I group my 2 times 4 together and then multiply 9 times 8. Again, a known fact that I can find on my multiplication table. Let's get there. 2 times 4, 8. Bring down what you got left over. That's your multiplication symbol. And your 9. 9 times 8. Come down here, find my factor 9. Here, find my factor 8. And 9 times 8 is 72. Or you could do it the opposite way. Come up here, find your 9. Come down here, find your 8. Come on over. And you still got 72. Order doesn't matter. Alrighty, moving on. All right, so now we have a series of problems that we're going to have to solve and then compare the answer. And we're not going to want to compare it in a number sentence like this. So let's figure out what we're going to do. 4 times 2 times 9. I'm going to group the 4 and the 2 together. Keeps me working with 1 digit times 1 digit numbers. 4 times 2 is 8. Bring down what you got left over. You got your times 9. And that is 72. Here, I can multiply 7 times 4, but I'm going to end up with 28 times 2. You could do 28 plus 28. It's no big deal. But if I just simply multiply the 4 and the 2 first, I keep a 1 digit times 1 digit number. 7 times 8, tricky one. Come and find it on your table. 7 times 8. Come on down 7, come over 8, 56. So now I can compare 72 versus 56. 72 is greater than 56. 72 is greater than. All right. Gonna keep on trucking. Why don't you make sure to remember to pause these videos. Give these a try. Mr. Tillish is going to be right there for you to check your answer with you. All right, so we don't have a whole lot of options here. We can either do 6 times 2 or 2 times 6. Commuter property says same thing. Okay, so why not do 6 times 2? Get your carrot. 12. What do you got left over? Times 6. 12 times 6 is a known fact, and it's a known fact because you can find it on most standard 12 times 12 multiplication tables. In this case, you got plenty more room. You go up to 15 times 15. So let's go find 12 times 6. 12 times 6. And we'll come on down. Come on over. We meet in the middle. 72. Another 72. Put that down there right there. Okay. And here we go. We have 5 times 2 or 2 times 8. If we multiply 5 times 2, we're going to end up with 10. Okay, anything times 10, okay, isn't a big deal. Okay, so let's do that. 5 times 2, draw a carrot, get our 10. Times 8. 10 times 8, same thing as 8 times 1, but add your 1 0, 80. And this go around, 72 is now less than 80. Or 6 times 2 times 6 is less than 5 times 2 times 8. Okay? The associative property says, hey, you've got 3 numbers you got to multiply. Pick 2 to put a parentheses around and multiply those ones first. But think about what you're putting the parentheses around. Okay? Are you going to keep a 1 digit times 1 digit number sentence? Are you going to make your number sentence a little too big, a little too uncomfortable for you right now at this stage? Okay, 15, 16, and 17, sort of riddly sorts of problems. They are giving you symbols here, and you just need to match the symbol to the number that it goes with and replace the star, replace the sun, replace the smiley face and the star with the appropriate number 2, 3, or 4. In this case, we have 5 times 1 times star. That is 5 times 1 times 4. You're going to rewrite your problems. Let's rewrite this one too. 6 times sun times 3. Let's rewrite it as 6 times sun is equal to 2 times 3. And then 17, make sure you pause the video. Try this one if you haven't tried the other two. And then check it against mine. Smiley face, 3 times 3 times star, or 3 times 3 times 4. All right, let's go to town here. What are we going to do? We are going to multiply. It doesn't really matter here. I mean, you're going to end up with 5 times 4. Okay, so when you got that 1 in there, really you just need to multiply the 2 numbers. In this case, it was 5 times 4, but following our steps, 1 times 4 is 4. What's left? Times 5, and you end up with 5 times 4 equals 20. Okay. Here, I can do 6 times 2 and get 12, and then end up with 12 times 3. Okay. Or you can do 3 times 2 and get 6, and then you got yourself a double, 6 times 6. Let's do that. Let me group the 2 and the 3. 2 times 3, 6 times 6. And that's a known fact, fun one to memorize. It's a rhymer. 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, and the last one of these, we have 3 times 4. Again, we can get 12 and multiply 12 times 3, or we can do 3 times 3 is 9. Right? And you're still working with a 1 digit times 1 digit number. Let's keep it like that. 3 times 3 is 9. What's left over? Times 4. It's a known fact. 9 times 2 is 18. Double it, you get 36. Or 9 times 4 is 36. All right. Not bad. Using the associative property. All right. All right. Here we are working with a part-whole situation. Okay, but it's part whole. Right? Part whole. Because we have 3 factors that we're multiplying now. Okay. So what exactly are we gonna do here? 4 times something times 1 equals 12. Now in this case, kiddos, what you want to do is multiply what you have. Okay. In this case, you have a 4 and a 1. What do you got? You got 4. 4 times something times 1. Multiply what you have. Okay. Multiply 4 and 1. And then you end up with 4 times your little blank box equals 12. Now you have a part whole. Right? If you imagine your part whole diagram, you know you have your whole when you got your single number right over here in the equal sign. The answer, right? That's your whole. 12, and then your part. You don't know the other part. When you have a whole and you have a part, that means divide to find the missing factor. Divide to find that missing factor. 12 divided by 4, or what's the missing member of the fact family? You got 4 and 12. Well, 4 times what is 12? 4 times, well, keep on trucking until you see the multiple 12 for 4. There's 4, 8, 12. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay. All right. Now, up next, got another missing part. Part. Whole. Multiply what you got first. Okay. What do you have? You got 2 times 5. Do it. 2 times 5 is 10. What do you got left over? Times something gives you 60. So now in this case, 10 times something equals 60. What do you multiply times 10 to get 60? Those 10 facts are fun. It's 6. All right. Or you have your part whole. You got 60. Got your one part. 60 divided by 10 is 6. Or what is the missing member of the fact family? All right, here we go. Now, I don't know why I circled the gray box. I meant to circle the number 20 as we are going to do number 20. So we got a gray box. And I told you there wasn't going to be any more gray boxes and it was going to be all variables. I'm sorry for misleading you. But what do I have? I got 3 times 4. Solve what you got. 3 times 4 is 12. All right? That's equal to 24. And you got some gray box. All right? Keep it all lined up. Times 4. 12. Keep it all lined up. Now, you got missing a part. You got a part. And you got a whole. What you gonna do? You can do 12 divided by, or 24 divided by 12 and get your answer. Or you can think about what is the missing factor in the fact family. What times 12 is 24? Use your multiplication table. 12 is here. Go along until you find the multiple 24. 12, already. 12 times 2 is 24. You can also find 12 across the top, and you can find the multiple going down too. 12, boom, 24. 12 times 2 is 24. Your missing factor is 2. Kiddos, the associative property of multiplication is very, very similar to the associative property of addition. Doesn't matter how you group the numbers, you're going to end up with the same answer. Okay? Just group the numbers in a way that makes your life a little easier. And that's it. All right, kiddos? The associative property of multiplication.